Erickson was perfectly happy to break all the social norms when asking someone, "And who are you?" That's right. Interesting things happen when you switch the social context a little bit, right? But this is not any hypnosis training. This is an Ericksonian hypnosis training. Anyone here not know who Milton Erickson was? That is a huge relief. It saves me a lot of time. So Milton Erickson was unusual in many ways, right? And one of the ways is that he was actually very happy being unusual, and he used his unusualness as part of the hypnotic ritual. Hypnosis is a social ritual, it's a social interaction because you are communicating with other people, right? And there's an old saying, you cannot not communicate. Even your attempts to avoid communicating is a communication on its own, right? And being aware of that, Milton really exploited this principle. It's kind of like the backbone to Ericksonian hypnosis that goes beyond language and metaphors and symbolism and all the strategy and the constructs. All these things are wonderful, but at the bedrock of it all is what I like to call the MW principle. Some of you will know it by a slightly different name, but the MW principle is something I'd like to really get our teeth into right now, if that's okay with you guys, right? So what is this MW principle? It sounds a bit like weapons of mass destruction, which is not what it is. The MW principle, I think, is something that really accentuates. It takes like a magnifying glass to whatever hypnotic lights you might shine out, and it magnifies it down to pinpoint precision. So that what otherwise might just be a nice little day becomes almost laser focused in terms of its impact and the experience it draws out of another person, right? So I'd like to repeat this exercise here, only this time with the MW principle active as well. And hopefully you'll notice that the nature of what follows will change when you ask the exact same questions, but with the MW principle in action. Yeah? So are you guys ready to do the exercise? Is that okay with you guys? Do you want to go off and do it now? Or would you like a little hand on what I mean by the MW principle? Is that a little bit too abstract or a little vague here? Because vagueness is part of my job here, but there is such a thing as too vague. And I appreciate the MW might not be quite as clear yet. So what does the MW principle stand for? It stands for Milton's weirdness. Erickson was perfectly happy to break all the social norms when asking someone, "And who are you?" That's right. And so I encourage all of you to take a moment and walk around the room and meet people and look at them with the MW principle and to say to them, "Who are you?" That's important you wait an uncomfortable time before you allow them to answer. If they attempt to answer too quickly, it's okay, not yet. Who are you? Not yet. And eventually, they'll give you an answer, and you'll go, "Ah, that's very interesting. And where are you from?" Now, the MW principle has a way of changing things. Takes a little longer, but then you reach a little deeper. So I encourage you to spend maybe 8 minutes. You won't get a chance to meet everyone this time.
Sure.
But the people you do meet, you'll really meet. And it's very important that it's not just the M of the principle, but there's a little W there. And you know you've got just the right amount of W when things get a little uncomfortable, just a little, too intense. So this is a game we can play just for, I don't know, 7-8 minutes, yes? So go ahead. You feel free to sit down on this one or stand up. I don't mind which way you go. So how was that, folks? Was that interesting?
It's a good word for it.
Interesting is the right word, isn't it? Who had fun with that? Who didn't have fun with that? Didn't have fun with that? Really? Are we going to have issues here? Interesting things happen when you switch the social context a little bit, right? Your answers, were they a little different to the first round? Same questions, weren't they?
Yeah.
But something else happened, didn't it? Some other quality emerged, did it not? And all really required is a little bit of, let's face it, theatrics. But it wasn't just theatrics in the sense of, dramatics you might have done in high school, because, school is prison for little people, and we're not little people anymore, right? So the theatrics we're talking about here is a little bit more, the method style acting, where you go first. You enter an unusual way of perceiving the world, and somehow the other person joins you, and something else comes out, doesn't it? Was it interesting? Any particular insights that you guys want to share at this point? So just come up briefly here, and then, it'll only be a quick one. We'll have another one more exercise before we take a break. Just lift it up a little because you're tall. There you go.
So what was nice was and people in the university will know this, it shifted the levels of thought.
Mm-hmm.
So the slowing down process is very much likened to NBL
yep.
as well.
Yep.
Well, it's like everything's connected. That's the closest correlation that I could make, and it was nice to see the unconscious signaling that was occurring.
And that last little piece especially hopefully makes some sense to people who aren't in the school. Everything else was a little more technical jargon for now. But thanks so much, by the way. Yeah, give me a round of applause, guys. But did you notice that when you had a conversation with the MW principle in action, right? I just noticed it's MWP instead of WMD, so there you go. So with that MW principle in action, that, for want of a better way of describing it, the quality responses you got seemed somehow a little bit more unconscious in some way. Those of you especially who are practiced hypnotists, who've worked with people before, would it be fair to say you're seeing more of these unconscious signals starting to happen? You've changed nothing other than the way that you engage socially in a slightly altered way. Would that be fair to say? So although it's a bit of a fun thing, I don't necessarily encourage you to do this at parties, although now that I think about it, I encourage you to do this at parties.